All right, hey everyone. So as an AI dev, probably the number one question I get is, how does a computer actually understand what we're typing at it? It feels like magic, right? But it's not. It's actually a super cool story of innovation. So today, we're going to walk through the big ideas that got us from, simple rule-based systems all the way to the crazy powerful models we have now.
So yeah, let's dive right into that question. How does an AI actually understand you? This is like one of the biggest mountains computer science has had to climb. And it really all comes down to this fundamental gap between structure and meaning. See, our language is just packed with nuance, with ambiguity, and that stuff is so hard for a machine to get its head around.
Okay, so think of it like this. On one hand, you've got syntax. That's just the grammar, the rules. Remember diagramming sentences in school? That's syntax. And computers, they're actually great at that. But then you have semantics, and that's the meaning behind the words. A sentence can be grammatically perfect, like the famous example, colorless, green ideas, sleep furiously. The syntax is flawless, but it means, well, nothing. And bridging that gap from just structure to actual meaning, that's been the real challenge.
So how did we first try to tackle this? Well, the first idea was pretty logical, right? We just tried to do what we do in school, teach the computer all the grammar rules. The thinking was, hey, if we can just write down a giant rule book for English, we can just hand it over to the machine and call it a day. And the formal way we did this was with something called a context-free grammar. It sounds complicated, but really it's just a system of rewriting rules. You start with big concepts like a noun phrase or a verb phrase, and then you make rules for how to break those down into smaller and smaller pieces until you eventually get to the actual words. And here's what that looks like in practice. You can see how these simple rules can just chain together. We say a sentence, S, is a noun phrase NP followed by a verb phrase, VP. Then we say what an NP is. It's a determiner like the plus a noun like city. You just keep going down the rabbit hole. It's kind of like a recipe for a sentence. So let's see what happens when we actually feed these rules into a little bit of code. Okay, so check this out. Using a really popular Python library for this stuff called NLTK, that's the Natural Language Toolkit, the computer can take our rules and a sentence and then generate this, a syntax tree. And look, it perfectly maps out the whole grammatical structure. It breaks it down from the top-level sentence all the way to the individual words. I mean, on a purely structural level, this totally works. It's pretty cool. But, and this is a huge but, there's a massive problem. This whole approach is super brittle. Think about a sentence like, I saw the man on the mountain with a telescope. Okay, so who has the telescope? Is it me or is it the man? See, a rule-based system just completely falls apart with that kind of ambiguity. You just can't write a rule for every single weird nuance of English. It's impossible. We had to find a better way. All right, so on to the next big idea. This is where things start to get really interesting. The thinking shifted. Instead of trying to hand-feed the computer a rigid rulebook, what if we just drowned it in text? Like, give it all of Wikipedia and just let it figure out the patterns for itself.
And the way we do this is with something called n-grams. An n-gram is really just a fancy name for a sequence of n words all in a row. So a two-word sequence, that's a bigram. A three-word sequence is a trigram. All the computer does is scan through tons of text and just count how many times it sees each of these little phrases. So for example, if you fed the computer all of the Sherlock Holmes stories, it would really quickly figure out that trigrams like it was a or one of the are super common. Now, notice what's happening here. It's not learning grammar. It's not learning about nouns and verbs. It's learning statistics. It's just figuring out which words like to hang out together. It's a definite step up for sure, but it's still just glorified pattern matching. Okay, so this statistical approach was definitely better, but it still couldn't get at meaning. You and I know that book and novel are super similar, but to an n-gram model, they're just two totally different words. The real breakthrough, the thing that changed everything, came when we figured out how to turn the meaning of words into numbers. And it's all captured in this brilliant quote from the linguist J.R. Firth. "You shall know a word by the company it keeps." Think about that. The idea is that a word's meaning isn't some dictionary definition. It's defined by the words that usually show up next to it. You know? Words like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, they must be related, right? Because they all show up in similar sentences, like, I'm going to eat blank. So this insight gave birth to one of the most important concepts in modern AI, word embeddings. Here's the deal. It's a technique where we turn every single word into its own unique list of numbers. We call that a vector.
And the model learns to create these vectors so that words that show up in similar contexts, like book and novel, end up with number lists, vectors, that are really, really similar to each other.
So what's the big deal? What does this actually let us do? Well, get this. We can do math on meaning. We can literally do analogies with arithmetic. So for instance, what do you think happens if we take the vector for king, subtract the vector for man, and then add the vector for woman?
The vector you get back is the one that's closest to the vector for queen. I mean, how wild is that? This was absolutely mind-blowing when it was discovered. It proved that these models weren't just, memorizing stuff. They were actually learning the relationships between concepts. This right here was the bedrock for real semantic understanding.
All right, so this ability to represent meaning with numbers, with vectors, that basically paved the way for the large language models we have today. But to really handle long, complex sentences, to have actual conversations, they were still missing one more crucial piece of the puzzle.
So here was the problem. The older neural networks, things like recurrent neural networks, had to read a sentence one word at a time. And by the time they got to the end of a long paragraph, they'd pretty much forgotten what was at the beginning. It's like they had to cram the entire meaning of the input into this one tiny little box of data. It created this massive information bottleneck.
And the solution to this was a truly revolutionary idea called the attention mechanism. It's brilliant. Instead of forcing the model to try and remember everything at once, attention lets the model look back over the entire input sentence and decide, okay, which words are the most important for what I need to do right now? It literally learns to weigh how important each word is.
Let me give you a super simple example. If you ask it, what is the capital of Massachusetts, the model doesn't really need to care about the words what or is. The attention mechanism lets it learn to put a huge attention score on the words capital and Massachusetts. Why? Because it knows those are the key pieces of information it needs to give you the right answer, which is Boston.
And this idea, this one concept, is the absolute core of modern AI. The entire transformer architecture, that's the engine that powers things like ChatGPT and GPT-4, it is built from the ground up around this ability to pay attention. It lets the model look at all the words at the same time and use something called self-attention to figure out how every single word relates to every other word, no matter how long the sentence is. It's a game changer. So there you have it. That's the journey. We went from rigid, hand-coded rules to just counting statistical patterns, to turning meaning into math with vectors, and finally, to models that can literally learn what to pay attention to. What an incredible evolution, right? And it really makes you wonder, now that AI has mastered paying attention to our words, what's it going to learn to pay attention to next? Thanks so much for watching.